Hello guys, so in a previous video we have seen how to create inbound role in a firewall of SQL box to allow SQL, TCP and UDP ports. But does it mean it is working? This is something you need to check before you proceed. If I check now by try to install the SQL Server instance from installation again, if I access to new SQL Server standalone, evaluation is fine. Next, I accept the license term. Next. Now see, with this check method, take a look. With the firewall again, we have the same warning we had it before. It's like we did nothing. Okay, what else I can check? If I access to run and run access to CMD, then in CMD cd /cls. Now if I type netstat -a -n. Okay. If I take a look now to the open ports, as you see, I cannot see 1433. We have here some open ports, but not 1433. And this is a normal case when a computer is joining to the domain. So the technique which you need to follow is to enforce the firewall settings through the group policy. I need to jump now to Victoria DC1 and we need to log in. And in Victoria DC1, this is my box, and it is already in computers OU. Now I have a technique, which is I can first create in here OU and then move the SQL database to that OU. And then when I access to group policy object and create a new policy and attach it to that OU. So by this, only the computers in the database OU will be affected by the new policy. And this is, of course, the best technique to do. Or if you want to do it here in a lab environment, you can create a group policy object, but that group policy object you should not apply to all computers in your environment. You should do through security filter to apply it only on SQL 2019. You are free to follow any technique you like. For us, here in GCyber, we create now a new organizational unit. So we access a new organizational unit. I will call it database. So I know it is for database servers. And in computers now, this SQL 2019, we need to move it to database. We have now in database this SQL server. Now in tools, we can access to group policy management. And in the group policy management, we have now the database OU. Here is it. Right click, create a GPO. And we can say firewall, or let us call it SQL firewall. So I know exactly what kind of settings to add in there. Now access to edit, right click, edit. Now with edit, we need to access to computer configuration, policies, and access to Windows settings, to security. And in security here we have Windows Defender Firewall, Windows Defender Firewall, inbound, outbound roles. So with inbound now, we need to add a new role, what we did before with port. Next, the ports are, as we see, 135, 1433, 1434, and 4022 TCP. Next, allow the connection, domain private public, and allow SQL TCP. Finish. This is the first one. We need another one. I right click, copy, and let us see if we can paste it. Here, this is the second one. The second one now, any one of them, just right click, access to properties. And then properties, first change the name, allow SQL UDP, enabled, allow the connection. Now with ports, protocols and ports, this one now is for UDP. And the port which you want to allow is 1434. And we delete the other ports. For remote port, any port is allowed. Apply and OK. Now if I take a look to it, here with full details, as you see, you have the information with the local ports allowed and the protocols. And it is allowed. Now before run group policy update force for both Victoria DC1 and SQL Server, we still have here just this setting which we need to update. We need to access to Windows Firewall. We have the policies now in inbound. Right click, access to properties. And in properties, as you see, currently tells you the firewall state is off. You need to change it to on. This is for domain profile. And for inbound connection, we allow them. You can block if you want or not configured. And for outbound connection, we select allow default. Same with the private connection on. with allow and allow default and public. On with allow and allow default, and then apply. That is going to activate the firewall by using a group policy. Now, next step, we need to run GP update for both DC1 and SQL 2019. We need now from CMD to run GP update force. First on the domain controller itself, and then on your device, you need to run GP update force, which is the SQL box. Done, and now I'll just restart the SQL box. Shut down /R space /T space then 0. Now we have to log into the server. Just restart it to make sure everything runs smoothly, and we need to access to the package. Go on Windows Explorer, this PC, DVD, and we get the wizard in installation now, new SQL standalone installation. So here specify a free edition. We will go with developer. Developer is not going to be expired. It contains all the requirements we wanted for the enterprise, which we don't have it here because we have evaluation instead, but it's going to cover all what we need for this course and even for the advanced courses. In addition, it will allow us to build application using Visual Studio if we decide to do that in the future. So developer is fine. We continue next. Accept the license terms. Use Microsoft Update to check update. Next. Now we check if we have anything or any problem. And as you see, we just passed quickly to the installation. We don't have even a problem with the firewall. We don't get a warning. We have the default settings. Now we need to pick which options or instance features to be installed. And then we continue with the rest, including the accounts, which we also use it and attach it with the services of SQL to be installed. But we will continue with the installation in the next video. Thanks for watching.